So what is going on, everybody? I have got something sort of unplanned for you, but in the spirit of wanting to be helpful, especially to all the new players that I've seen in the comments of my recent hauling videos. Thank you guys so much. Please keep asking all of the questions. If I don't respond, I've likely still read it. Even if I haven't had a chance to like it, give it a heart, all of that. Yeah, it's been a lot, but I love it. I love that I'm getting more questions because that'll give me ideas for videos that'll help you all with your hauling grind or just general things in Star Citizen. Plus, there's a ton of comments that'll probably be helpful in the video as well, because this community in general has been really helpful over the years. So thank you so much. We're going to take a peek at one of the new hauling missions, one of the new hauling companies that have entered this game since the start of 4.4, and that is Ling Family Hauling. Now I'm going to go ahead and say for the Ling family and for Redwind Line Haul, which is actually mostly based out of Pyro, though you can see them in Stanton and some other places, they seem to be the companies that are going to be taking over the Interstellar category. Now you do see Kovalex here. In the PTU, I did not realize Kovalex was a part of Interstellar anymore, especially because we lost the 700k missions for the whole C category, but also there just weren't any missions available because in PTU, I'm not master qualified yet. I'm only senior qualified. I was kind of doing the grind to get there. But these master qualified missions, they don't really pay all that much. It's not really worth the risk if you ask me. But you will see Redwind, and after you do this intro mission with the Ling family that you'll find in just the hauling section, which is gone now because I've accepted it, you'll find these guys, and you can see them going out of Nyx and also from like Pyro to Stanton, and it's going to be this new material, or this new style of materials, I would say, that take you from industrial more to like consumer, because you're dealing with party favors, audio-visual equipment, souvenirs, distilled spirits. So it's either like things that kind of make you think of, you know, gatherings or get-togethers or shops. You know, it's not like, you know, gold, hydrogen, processed food, like this big industrial stuff. It's more like the, not necessarily intimate, but kind of the small items, or the stuff like, I don't know, the Coca-Cola truck delivering to a gas station. You know what I mean? So we're going to go through this mission real quick. It's rather low SCU count too, so these are really great for smaller ships and people who are still on the intro side or the beginner side of the hauling regime. And as with the overhaul happening with hauling, these missions are limited to rookie. You will have a rep that you're going to gain once you complete this, just like with Redwind Line Haul, but you're only going to get on the Interstellar side and on the Ling family side rookie level right now. So don't worry, it's not an issue you're having personally. They haven't introduced the higher rank missions because CIG is trying to be really careful not to break anything, or to break as little as possible with this. So I suspect with 4.5, we might see the next level or two of the hauling rep getting into maybe junior, member, who knows. But keep in mind, for now, it's rookie. So once you get to junior rank, I wouldn't focus too much on grinding Ling family, because the rep is going to be so tiny for every mission you complete. Because if you do a mission that is below the rank you're currently at, the rep gain is minuscule. It is brutal. But at least in the interim, you can take care of the intro mission and kind of see what these missions are like. You can pull these up from the external freight elevator here at Levski, or from your internal hangar. I'm going to pull them up from the internal because I'm already here, and it's just easy. We're going to be using the whole A today. One thing I just noticed, because I've done these missions quite a bit in the PTU, this is one of the double pickups. Sometimes you'll get everything from Levski, and you can stack these on a bigger ship. This one in particular, though, we're picking up from Levski and Seraphim before taking everything down to Orison. So that's kind of cool. We got a double pickup. All right, here we go. I'm excited, guys. I have not flown this thing in years. This is the little sister to the whole C. Well, the youngest sister to the whole C, I would say, or smallest. I don't know, whatever. Because we got the whole B coming out, which is going to be sweet. This is the whole A. I like the flare out of the engine there. It's pretty sweet. We're rocking the Trailblazer livery, keeping it in my family of hauling. The Maggie C rocks the Trailblazer livery, so we've got it on the whole A here as well. I did fully kit this thing out. I got attritions. We got a Breton power plant. We got a VK00 quantum drive. We got FR76 shield. I've been having some fun salvaging out in the Glacium ring, getting some good components for these ships. But we'll do a quick tour of the whole A here so you guys can see what's up. I picked this ship up here in Levski at Teach's ship shop for 1.7 mil. So it's a lot more affordable than the whole C and some of the other big ships. We're just going to turn off our shields and unlock our ship ports with right Alt K by default on your keyboard, just so that I can show you guys that this thing has all of its components accessible, which is really cool. You just come over here, tap open on both of these. Yeah, we got our power plant down here. We got our VK00 quantum drive here. We got our vapor block cooler on this side. I'm not equipping my other cooler yet. That'll probably change in 4.5 though. Once engineering's in, you're going to need both coolers. Stepping back this way, you've got your quarters here with a bed, sink, all the living space stuff you need. You even got built-in storage, which is awesome. Being able to actually put stuff on your ship in a pretty high quantity too. 1050K micro SCU, which is awesome. Right behind here, you've got your deployable weapons rack, which is fantastic for just making sure you've got what you need while you're out on the float. And of course, a nice bathroom. Gotta have that, right? I forgot how much I love the MFD placement in these ships, where there's a little bit more thought put into it. We're gonna go ahead and make sure we relock our ports, power up shields. I like to make sure all my stuff is allocated properly before I get moving. There's a bit of a visual glitch when it comes to the MFDs right now. So it doesn't look like our stuff is on here, and as you tick up power, it'll actually highlight above and show like empty spots here. That's just a visual glitch. It's on. If it ever just bothers you though, you can just power cycle and it'll show everything properly. It's up to you guys if that really bothers you enough to be an issue or if you can deal with it. Now, just like the Maggie C, this is part of the whole series that has the ability to expand. So we're gonna go ahead and open up that rear cargo section. And we'll come over here to grab this cargo. What's nice about this and the whole B is the ability to take your cargo down planet side and land. That is not something you can do in the whole C, and the D&E as well. They are meant to be in the air at all times or in space at all times, which is why the auto-loading grid is such a big deal. For a while, there was really nothing that could compete with this at the 64 SCU count and just the ease of hauling. I will say, though, that Drake has stepped up with the Golem Ox. I do plan to have some content around that, seeing how it compares with the same SCU count of 64, except the Ox has a tractor beam. The whole A does not. So I think that is a big point in favor of the Ox. Alright, just so, because I'm a bit of a stickler for a little bit of realism here, we're going to make sure we spread a bit of that cargo so it's not all on one side. With the inclusion of these interstellar missions, I think one of the biggest things people are going to have to keep in mind is that fuel capacity. Like most ships of this size, we're only rocking about 1.8 SCU of quantum fuel. So we're going to be burning through that pretty quickly. Using efficient quantum drives like the Atlas or the VK00, if you can get your hands on that military grade quantum drive, will help because you're going to be getting a lot farther, getting a lot more bang for your buck. Now, the Atlas quantum drive you can find at HER-L5. It is a grade A civilian quantum drive. It's very fast. It's very efficient. Now, with the introduction of truly interstellar missions comes the obvious, or should be obvious, risk. So between doglegging travel, trying to find a server that's lower populated, and just having, good instincts in general around defense and just making as few mistakes as possible will help you go a long way. For example, if you saw a bunch of people here trying to blockade this exit, don't try to go through it. So an important point was brought up in my last video in the comment section that is very true and a very real threat, and that is the orbital nodes being a hot spot for pirates to intercept people traveling through. One of the ways that you can sort of dogleg your travel, if you know where you're trying to go, like we're trying to get over here on the other side of Orison to get to Seraphim and, the other side of Crusader to get to Seraphim and Orison, instead of using a traditional OM point, you can actually do a partial jump to Selin, or one of the moons that are kind of like in that direction to avoid orbital maneuver nodes and to get around potential pirates. You just jump real quick and then immediately hop out with the same button to see if maybe you have freed up the space, there you go, to head straight to the station, and you're not in a place where pirates are going to be able to intercept you, because it's just impossible to have that sort of calculation or that sort of spread. But if you're at an orbital node, especially 1 and 2, the North and South Pole nodes, you risk, if you're in a busy server, or just in general, that there might be a pirate gang there waiting for you. And as we're pulling into Seraphim here, we see that we are at about 1/3 of our fuel capacity. So we burned a lot going from Levski through the wormhole and then all the way to Crusader. It is always good to keep your eyes on that fuel gauge. You can actually plop down at landing pads, which should be right here. You guys can see them. You can plop down at those externally, or if you're going to have enough fuel to make it to your final delivery area, you make sure you refuel there. We'll do that once we get down to Orison. So I had always heard, but not actually tested, that the whole A could use the auto-loading function. So this is sort of a learning experience for me. I made a joke in the comment section of my last hauling video, or one of the last two, that I've sort of got a little bit of that big ship privilege. So, and it's kind of showing here. And yeah, we're not getting any ATC interaction for the cargo grid. So it might just be the whole C specifically, not even the whole A, which is kind of a bummer. I hope CIG's got some plans for that, because I do think the auto-loading grid should factor in any of the whole series, and I would even say ships like the Raft or the Golem you know, the Golem Ox, I should say. If you have an external cargo grid, I feel like the sort of loading drone idea should apply. And again, it might just be that I'm experiencing a little bit of a bug, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We're going to go ahead and pull over here to the cargo section and get our elevator up so we can grab that next little batch of cargo to take down to Orison. So I'm going to go ahead and go into coupled mode. Okay, really fast. I noticed that I talk about going into coupled and out of coupled without really telling you guys what that means, because a lot of you might not even realize there's decoupled flight. Decoupled flight sort of simulates microgravity in a more realistic way. Your ship just keeps moving until you apply counter thrust in a different direction. By default, you're in coupled mode, which basically means that whenever you take your finger off of whatever input you use to go any direction, the ship automatically comes back down or tries to slow back down to 0. That's why I sort of lovingly call it my parking brake, because that's what I go into whenever I'm in the grid to auto load. If you guys want to mess with decoupled flight, or see what the difference is between coupled and decoupled, you can come into flight movement options and then scroll down a little bit to the enable disable mode and see where your keybind is, or even actually set it separately for enable and disable. I basically go everywhere decoupled, personally. Lots of experience, and I'm using flight sticks. It's just, it feels natural. That's what I always do. I'm only ever really in coupled mode to hold myself still, to act as that sort of parking brake. But I figured I talk about it a lot, so why not actually show you guys what I mean and where the keybind is to change that. So we are in coupled now, and you can see it right over here lit up. Most ships will have this sort of lighting sequence on either side to show if you're in VTOL, if your landing gear's down, if you're in G-safe, coupled mode, if your ship is locked, which means it will not move or pitch up, down, left, right, and you use that with the right shift key. Hit that again to unlock it, and then your ship will maneuver again. Otherwise, if it's not moving, it might be because of the Z key, because you're in free look. So tap Z key again, and then your ship will move again. But yeah, a couple little things there just to hopefully help out a little bit more, because I'll say a lot of things, and you guys might be like, I don't know what that is. So here, I've got some extra stuff, some RMC and some random titanium and such. So I like going over here to the missions tab, just to make sure I only have selected what is necessary for the mission. Select all, move over, and bring it on up. We are just loading up our party favors and such for the rest of this mission, utilizing our awesome tractor rifle, and then we'll head on down to Orison. Alright, we are popping into Hangar 2 to drop off.
There you go. My system showing that you've had a great time. Enjoy your stay at Orison.
Don't worry, super durable boxes. All the product is totally fine. Now, as you can see, even without a tractor beam or auto-loading, offloading the hull A is a very quick and easy process. Well, there we have it. We got everything gridded down. Hull A is offloaded. Let's go ahead and submit this and get this contract completed. We're looking at green across the board. That's what we like to see. And here we go. Objectives complete. As the mission completes, well, we want to verify that it actually did complete. Okay, it did. Sometimes they linger in the accepted category and you just have to hit the submit button, but we're doing okay here. Everything went through. And when we take a look at our rep, we should see the Ling family now, which we do right here. And we've already busted well through rookies. So you're only going to need to do maybe 3 of these, or actually just stack like 2 more to knock it out to junior. Once you get into junior though, like I said before, the rep gain will be minuscule while rookie missions are the only thing available. So I wouldn't work too hard grinding that up, but hey, you do you. Planetary is all Covalex. Stellar's got a mix of Covalex and Redwind from the Onyx facilities. At Interstellar, you're going to start to see Ling family joining Redwind and Covalex at the master level. But you'll also see that these are all still pretty low SU amounts. So taking out your Nomads, your Cuddy Blacks, your Hull A's, your Golem Oxes, pretty much any cargo ship you could think of would be really easy to take care of these missions. But it is cool to see a diversification of Interstellar companies here, and some decent payouts from Ling family and from Redwind. Stack and play at your leisure. Now, if you want to work Redwind line haul, you got to grind that in Pyro, and it is frustrating. I do plan to make some videos on that in the future. But like before, guys, please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think down in the comments, any questions you have. Keep your eyes open for sort of overall intro to hauling tips and tricks video coming out after this video really soon here. And I look forward to catching you guys in the next one.